workers in Zimbabwe. We are all over Zimbabwe speaking about interests and rights of mine workers. So we welcome you to this address. With me here, I've got my president, Comrade Moka Patira, who is on my immediate right. He's the president of the union. Far right is the general secretary of Ghana Mine Workers Union. We are friends. We are a friend to all mine workers in Africa. So they are here in solidarity. My left side is Comrade Ashraf from Egypt, representing Mine Workers Union of Egypt in solidarity with Zimbabwe. He is the Treasurer General of the Union. The General Secretary is seated in just in front of me. We also have Mine Workers Union of Zambia, the Assistant General Secretary representing Mine Workers of Zambia with us here in solidarity. We are also going to have colleagues from Namibia. I think they have already arrived at the airport. We are going to have colleagues from Egypt, from Nigeria, South Africa. You shall see them at the conference. Colleagues, we have invited you to tell you that as mine workers, we are here in Bulawayo. You might want to know why we have invited you. This is our second Congress as a union. We have been in the industry for the past 11 years, registered initially to represent the diamond sector in Chiatwa. When the Chiatwa diamond was consolidated, we variated our scope to cover the whole mining industry, and our first Congress was in 2019 in Harare. Bulawayo being our second region covering Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, and Midlands is one of the hub of mining activities in Zimbabwe. We've got coal, we also have gold, we also have lithium that is being found in this region. So we decided to come to Bulawayo, and we've said, as Bulawayo, come and see the development and growth of one of the worker movement that is trying to put bread and butter on the table of mine workers. We believe mine workers at this moment, as the anchor and the backbone of our economy, have not been speaking loudly about our issues, about our economy, about the way we are living as mine workers. So we have said this Congress is going to define what is going to be the mine industry, what is going to be the mine workers in this country as workers. We believe mine workers are stakeholders in the extraction of resources in Zimbabwe. Therefore, we believe this Congress is going to be a stepping stone to greater heights, where mine workers will be profiled as the game changer of how development. We want to talk about development of communities, development of our country. This can only be possible if mine workers are earning a living wage. If mine workers are able to be recognized with all stakeholders in the sector, be able to be recognized as people who have got their own share in determining how mining is profiled in Africa. Here also, I'm also the Assistant Secretary General of African Federation for Mine Workers. We are saying our resources are for Africans. For too many years, we have been marginalized as Africa. There's no real development. That's why you see colleagues from Africa are here to support the cause, to say our resources are for Africans. We want to take stock of our governments, how they are bringing investors in this country. We are calling for investors not to loot our resources. But as workers, we are saying, come to mine and also to recognize, so that we develop Africa, we develop our communities, we also develop ourselves as people who are mining. So colleagues, this is why we are here.
Going to solidarize with our colleagues in Zimbabwe. The sorry nature of the mining industry, and for that matter, the mining sector across Africa, is one and the same. The problems of Ghana aren't different from the problems of Zimbabwe. The problems of Zimbabwe aren't different from the problems of Zambia, of Egypt, of Namibia, of Botswana. We have all the mineral resources on this continent. Unfortunately, we are eating or we are living off the crumbs. We do not think that narrative is the way it is ought to be. And so we are here to demonstrate symbolism to the fact that we stand toe to toe with our colleagues in Zimbabwe, and we are committed to pushing the cause of Africa. We believe if we collectively push that cause, every country within the continent of Africa will benefit. And so in the next 2 days, We'll be right here. We'll participate actively in this conference, and I believe strongly that by the close of the conference, we'll come out to very robust resolutions that will take Africa forward.
So this demand has been on since 2022 here in Zimbabwe. In some mines, we've successfully managed to get that $600. Some are at 550, some at 480, and so on. But the demand for mine workers, they are demanding a minimum wage of 600. Currently, the NEC, our salaries are set at National Employment Council. The minimum wage currently is 372, which is paid 65% US dollars, 35% ZIC. This is a pathetic salary. It's a poverty wage, which workers are continuously crying, saying it is not adequate. To answer you adequately, we still have people, especially the Chinese, who are paying even less than 372 we are talking about. Because it cannot, if you go in rural, if you go to Matabele and South, you go to Gwanda, they use rands. If you go to Brunabek in Plumtree, you are going to see them using Pula, and this 372 translated to what they are using there is nothing. They won't be able to buy any food. Even in rural mining, in rural areas in the mining sector, you find food items there. You don't have conventional supermarkets like TMOK. There we have people who take food there and sell at very high prices. So the living standards in the mining community is very high. That's why we are demanding that, because it cannot be compared by any other sector. Mining is in rural areas, and people here they are living a different lifestyle from those living in towns. In terms of water and the Blawa area, the main challenge that we currently have, which we think we need to address, is recognition of trade unions by the government of Zimbabwe. Something which is happening. We have seen trade unions regarded as political competitors, which is wrong. So as Zimbabwe are saying, we need to dialogue with government. We don't need political office as unionists. But at one time I might decide to be a political competitor. But here we are talking about bread and butter issues that satisfy every employee. If an employee earns a living wage, it means government also has taxes. But we have a challenge. Where do we dialogue? Because our government, they seem to fear workers unnecessarily. And this needs to be addressed. You have heard our colleagues from Ghana, from Zambia, even from Egypt. Their relationship with their government is something that we also wish to have here in Zimbabwe, so that when we are speaking about issues of water, we want to address the artisanal miners who are causing these things. We have heard that they've banned alluvial mining, which was very rampant. This is not the first time. My comrade from Mutare, he knows the Mutare River was polluted through this alluvial mining. We go to Angwa River in Mashonaland West. The river has been silted because of these things. But who has placed those people in those rivers to mine? You find out that possibly they've got concession, they've been given permission to mine those rivers. So we need to have dialogue between government. Government should be able to listen to the workers, because we are their children. We live through policies, and when we suggest, when we propose, it must be listened, not to think that we are proposing something that is not there. We are now coming into politics. That's not it.
Perspective, I indicated earlier that the narrative is not different at all. The Chinese, their character, their traits are one and the same thing. They come from the same father, the same mother. And so their attitudes are the same. When it comes to precarious work, they are the champions of precarity, because they benefited from precarious work. That is the only way they can exploit workers, exploit economies, and make maximum use of our resources at the expense of the citizens of our various countries. And so Chinese dominance in Africa, and for that matter the scramble for our resources in Africa by Chinese, is a grand scheme calculated not just by Chinese but by the East to ensure that they invade all our economies across Africa, and in fact recolonize us from the Europeans. And I think that we must be able to do to ensure that we extricate Chinese investments, because they are not the best of investments. If you come with your investment, you repatriate whatever you came with, And in addition to that, you actually put workers and for that matter citizens of these countries under so much, exploitation. I mean, who is going to sit back and allow that to happen? And so it's important that we work together, and that is why solidarity is extremely crucial. So to answer more directly your question, the Chinese presence in Zimbabwe is same in Ghana and virtually across Africa. And so if we work together through policy, through legislation, we would be eradicating this one common problem of Chinese presence, their dominance and their exploitation.
We're also learning from Ghana. I think a team traveled to Ghana to go and appreciate how they are doing it. We also started by recognizing that these are employees by nature, whether doing it legally or illegally. They are actually employees. They wake up in the morning, go there in the pits where they do things illegally, and that's where they are getting bread and butter. So in essence, they are employees. So we also thought we can work with partners like the government to recognize them as workers and organize them so that they can begin to work safely in those pits and be able to practice what is practiced in other mines regarding safety. So if we leave them like that, they will continue to die. We've recorded a lot of fatalities in Zambia because they are still not organized properly. We're moving at a faster rate, and we have partnered with the government to try and ensure that they are organized. So we're still learning from Ghana. Ghana is still advanced.
September, end of September, to also learn on the how they are working with artisanal and small-scale mines, because this is happening in their operations. Here in Zimbabwe, we have a problem in how they operate, because we have seen that the artisanal miners and small-scale miners, they are operating as gangs who are not, their work is not planned. They are working under some people politically connected and so on. So we are trying, and we have already started to engage. There's an association called Junior Chamber of Mines, there's Zimbabwe Miners Federation. We have started to engage them to say, we need to do proper mining. We need to see the formalization of the sector so that we protect environment. And this can only happen if we dialogue together. And they are listening, because they are also affected in as far as the laws of employment that we have been pushing on them. So I urge you, my brother, to say we want to bring formalization into the sector. And as a union, this is something that we have been looking on big mines, but learning from our colleagues from Zambia, they are already working with artisanal miners, and we are going to learn from Ghana. That's where it started. We are going to bring it here in Zimbabwe. But these two countries are already, we are learning how they started it so that we protect the environment. We want to see our environment protected from safe mining and so on. So we are coming to then and start doing that in Zimbabwe.
On the Ghana side, I think that we have taken what we call the institutionalization of small-scale mining. And so by way of legislation, by way of policy, there's government legislation, government policies targeting small-scale mining. And for that matter, there's opportunity for those who are ready and willing to do business the right way, to operate within the sector. But there are some miscreants arising out of some hurdles or some impediments based on policy and the same legislation. And these are matters that we are dealing with. At the operational level, most of these small-scale miners have been organized into an association. And so you are able to monitor their activities, and you are able to also extend support technically to these miners as and when they do need it. And so in terms of regulation of the small-scale sector in Ghana, we are far advanced. But like I said, illegal mining would always continue to subsist. And so even though there's some level of sanitization of the small-scale sector, there's still the illegal miners who want to make a living by degrading our lands and polluting our water bodies. The government launched what we call Operation HALT, and this program was targeted at raiding the illegal small-scale miners, or what we call galamseyers in Ghana, to raid them out of the system. It's not been so successful because They are more like nomads, nomadism. Today they are here, when you chase them, they run somewhere else. When you are able to establish where they are and you chase them, they run away to somewhere else. And so it's still a problem there. But I can say that some investment has been made in that direction with the hope that if we are able to collaborate in regularizing it and making sure that everybody has that opportunity, it will go a long way, to eradicate it, on a more sustainable basis. The government also introduced what we call community mining, schemes, or what we call community mining programs. So what the government did was to try and delineate in all the mining communities areas that are mineral rich and put these miners together, so that instead of moving from one place to the other and polluting the water bodies, you can operate within a particular enclave. In that way, the level of destruction will be controlled, rather than in a situation where it's free range and everybody decides where they go and what they do. So we've made some good strides in that direction. And I'm happy that our colleagues from Zimbabwe would be in Ghana hopefully in September. We'll share some knowledge in that regard, and I believe that that knowledge will go to improve other African countries, including Zimbabwe.